Negotiations took place in Florida between US President Donald Trump and Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelenskyy. After the meeting, during a joint press conference, the president of Ukraine stated,
"We have mutually agreed that robust security guarantees are a truly key and essential milestone for achieving a lasting and enduring peace, and our dedicated teams will continue to diligently work on all critical aspects of this important endeavor."
Donald Trump confirmed that there is every reason to achieve a peace agreement that is good for everyone and expressed his belief that Vladimir Putin is serious about peace.
Too many people have died, and I think that both presidents want to reach an agreement. I truly believe that we have the groundwork for a deal that will be good for Ukraine, good for everyone. There is nothing more important.
Donald Trump added that there will be a solid security agreement for Ukraine and that European countries are very actively involved. Trump also noted the economic benefits for Ukraine after the war.
I feel that the European countries have truly been wonderful, and they are very supportive of this meeting and eager to reach an agreement. They are all wonderful people.
In response to journalists' questions about possible timelines for reaching a peace agreement, the US president stated that he has no deadlines.
My only true deadline is to end this ongoing war.
Trump also stated that Russia and Ukraine are working together to restart the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant.
We discussed this at length. The nuclear power plant can be put into operation immediately. I spoke with Putin. He wants to see it put into operation.
The US president also stated that Russia will help with the reconstruction of Ukraine. When asked by a journalist whether Russia would bear any responsibility for the damage caused, Trump said that they would help. The head of the White House noted that the issue of Donbas has not been resolved. In his opinion, the Russian Federation still wants to seize territory in the coming months, so according to him, it is necessary to hurry with a peace agreement. Donald Trump said that he will have another conversation with Volodymyr Zelenskyy on December 29th. Trump also stated that he is ready to visit Ukraine if it would help end the war.
I would like to make a deal and not necessarily have to go. But if it helps, if it saves 25,000 lives a month or something else, I will definitely be ready to do it.
The head of the White House predicted that in a few weeks it will become clear whether the peace plan will work. According to him, a trilateral meeting involving himself, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, and Russian dictator Vladimir Putin could take place at the right time. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, shortly after the negotiations, announced an agreement regarding the next meeting of the Ukrainian delegation with the United States in January 2026 in Washington. It is known that before meeting with Volodymyr Zelenskyy, Trump had a phone conversation with Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. Putin's aide, Yuri Ushakov, stated that during the conversation with the American leader, the Kremlin ruler said that Ukraine must surrender Donbas to end the war. Meanwhile, Fox News reports that Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelenskyy and dictator Vladimir Putin may have a phone conversation for the first time in 5 years. This is allegedly to be facilitated by the meeting between Trump and Zelenskyy. A language scandal has erupted in Kazakhstan. A video filmed in a cafe at the Shimbulaksky resort has sparked widespread reaction on social media. A customer complained that a staff member refused to serve him in the state language and said she was not obliged to speak Kazakh.
Are you respected?
In the USSR, okay? I don't have to speak your language.
Country called?
According to the person who filmed the video, after he asked if there was a staff member who spoke Kazakh, the administrator began provoking a conflict. The situation escalated when he turned on the camera. The man claims that the staff member tried to force him out, after which the police were called. The management of the establishment made an official statement. It stated that following an internal investigation, a decision was made to dismiss the restaurant administrator. The statement emphasized that the restaurant always adheres to the principles of respectful and polite communication with guests. The restaurant also stressed that it respects the state language and serves guests in Kazakh, Russian, and English. Soon, the administrator involved in the scandal recorded a video with an apology.
I would like to sincerely address my beloved country and profoundly apologize for my deeply inappropriate, regrettable statement that I made. I am also a citizen of Kazakhstan. I apologize to my people for saying in the heat of the moment that I was born in the USSR. I did not mean to offend anyone in any way, so I ask for your forgiveness.
The incident continues to be actively discussed in society and has once again raised the issue of compliance with language standards in the service sector, especially in the country's tourist areas. Entrepreneur and civil activist Jalgas Ertay proposes introducing at the legislative level a system of fines in Kazakhstan for those who refuse to provide services in the state language.
The first time, just a warning and an immediate fine of 30,000 tenge. The second time, 300,000 tenge. The third time, a fine of 3 million tenge. Then, the very next day, any service establishment would gladly start providing services in Kazakh, whereas now the Akimat only limits itself to issuing a warning to such companies.
This is not the first language-related scandal in the service sector in Kazakhstan. Earlier, a resident of Astana shared on social media that the staff at one of the establishments did not speak Kazakh.
Yesterday, I went to Starbucks in Talent Towers. There was a Kazakh guy at the register. I ordered coffee in Kazakh, but he didn't understand. I was surprised that employees of such a large company don't know the Kazakh language.
Earlier, former Kazakh parliament member Valikan Koysarov stated that some Russian territories have Kazakh roots and that Kazakhstan has every moral and historical right to demand these lands back. Koysarov gave an example.
You have to understand that actually Russia itself, Siberia, Russia, Muscovy all the way to Hungary, these were once, the territories of Genghis Khan. The same goes for Novosibirsk. It's not Novosibirsk, it's Nogay-Sibir. These are our Kazakh territories. Tyumen is Tyumen. Orenburg is not Orenburg, but Orenbor. And at one time, it was the capital of the Kazakh state.
According to Koysarov, Russia, as a state with artificially drawn borders, has long exploited the resources of many peoples and republics, particularly the Kazakhs. The former deputy of the Kazakh parliament noted that Russian imperialism and territorial claims against other countries could, in the future, backfire on Russia itself. In turn, Russian analyst Anatoly Nezmian noted that such statements from Russia's neighbors are a kind of response to Russian revanchist rhetoric. In his opinion, if the Russian authorities use historical maps to justify territorial claims, then similar views may become popular among other countries as well.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is ready to meet with Vladimir Putin in any format. But it is important that the actions and words of the Russian leader match. Zelenskyy said this during an online briefing. He noted that it seems a bit strange that Putin tells US President Donald Trump that he wants to end the war and that this is his desire, while at the same time stating in the media that he wants and is ready to continue the war.
He strikes us with missiles, openly talks about it, rejoices at the destruction of civilian infrastructure, and gives orders to his generals where to go, what to capture.
According to the Ukrainian leader, such actions by Putin do not match the supposedly peaceful rhetoric he uses in his dialogue with Trump.
I told the US president that, in my opinion, all these messages have somewhat different natures. But once again, how to meet, in what format to negotiate, it doesn't matter to us. We are ready. What matters is that the actions and words of the Russian leader are consistent.
Volodymyr Zelenskyy noted that Donald Trump discussed all 20 points of the peace plan with Putin. In turn, Trump told the president of Ukraine what Russia is allegedly willing to agree to. According to Fox News, President Zelenskyy and Putin may have their first phone conversation in 5 years. This decision was prompted by the meeting between the leaders of Ukraine and the United States. Media reports say that organizing direct telephone talks between the country's leaders would be a diplomatic victory for Trump. However, RBC Ukraine, citing a source in the Ukrainian leaders' team, writes that wars are not ended over the phone. A conversation between President Volodymyr Zelenskyy and the Russian dictator Vladimir Putin is not being discussed at this time, but Ukraine is always ready for it, the source in the team stated. The last time the Ukrainian president and Vladimir Putin spoke was in July 2020. In August and September of 2024, there were opportunities for a conversation, but they disappeared when the Ukrainian armed forces entered the Kursk region. The Kremlin stated that a phone conversation between Putin and Trump will take place in the near future, while a conversation between Putin and Zelenskyy is not being discussed at this time. In addition, Putin's press secretary Dmitry Peskov announced Russia's conditions for a ceasefire. Supposedly, for this to happen, Kyiv must withdraw the Ukrainian armed forces from Donbass.
The withdrawal of the regime's armed forces from Donbass, beyond the administrative borders.
Notably, Russians were offended by Donald Trump's words that he was ready to come to Ukraine to prevent the killing, which Trump said during a briefing with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy.
The Russian press and Russian telegram channels wrote something completely different. They said that Trump is not willing to go to Ukraine. No, that's not true. For them, this is unpleasant news and a shock.
The expert also noted, Trump told journalists that during his meeting with Zelenskyy, the idea was developed to create a working group that would include Pete Hegsted, Marco Rubio, Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner. And this group will not be working with the United States. We've already agreed on everything with us, Trump said. There is a real collapse in the temporarily occupied Crimea. Local media report that due to the snowfall, there are kilometer-long traffic jams on the roads. Road services are working around the clock, and traffic police officers are helping drivers. Municipal services have intensified their work in the cities. On the morning of December 29th, about 17,000 people in 3 districts of Crimea were left without electricity due to bad weather. Restoration work is underway. Later, it was reported that an accident on the southern coast partially cut off power to Greater Yalta. Yalta received 8.5 millimeters of precipitation. About 100 people and 12 pieces of equipment are involved in clearing the streets and roads of snow and ice. Additional forces have arrived from Simferopol to help, reported Yanina Pavlenko, head of the occupation administration of the city. There is also a rather strong wind in Yalta right now, up to 18 meters per second, and it is expected to intensify. The sea is at a level 2 on the wave scale. Residents and visitors of the city are advised not to go onto the coastal reinforcement structures in such weather. A lot of snow fell in the mountains of Crimea over the weekend. For example, on Ipitri, the snow cover reached 41 centimeters. An emergency warning has been issued in the temporarily occupied Crimea due to the threat of snow avalanches. Meanwhile, in Yeniseisk, Russia, in the north of Krasnoyarsk Krai, a state of emergency has been declared. The water level in the Yenisei River has risen 17 centimeters above the critical mark. Several household plots have been flooded and traffic movement is restricted. In Moscow, temperatures as low as minus 19 degrees Celsius are expected in the coming days. Recently, the capital of the aggressor country was hit by a snow apocalypse. More than 100 flights were delayed at Moscow airports due to a severe blizzard. According to Russian telegram channels, because of the bad weather, there were problems with flight departures at Vnukovo, Domodedovo, and Sheremetyevo. A yellow-level weather warning was declared in the capital of the aggressor country. According to meteorologists, the heavy snowfall with strong gusts of wind could last until New Year's. Siberia was also buried in snow. Yakutia broke a temperature record. Minus 56 degrees were recorded in the region. Residents of the village of Tiksi suffered from a powerful blizzard that did not let up for 3 days. Meteorologists predict that the temperature could drop to minus 60 degrees Celsius in the coming days.